Hello, everyone. This is Jason Marshall, and it looks like we still have people joining the meeting, so I'm just going to give them a little bit longer. This is K-5 Inspire Science. So if you're looking for a K-5 Inspire Science presentation, you're in the right place. And we'll get started here in just a moment or two as the participants' numbers stabilize. Thank you for being here. We'll get started here in just a second.
Hello, Jason.
Hey, Cerise, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? So nice to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Good to see you.
Yes, it's really nice. Sorry, I'm a bit late. We were just trying to make sure we have people getting into the breakout rooms. We do have 76 people right now. That's amazing.
Well, I guess, you think we should get started?
Yeah, I think we can do that. Should we give it 2 minutes?
Yeah, we'll give it a couple more minutes.
Excellent. I think people have started to recognize you.
Yeah. Work with your region quite a bit. It's good to be back again.
Yeah. Okay, I think let's go for it. Would you hit record for me?
Yep, I've already hit recorded.
Oh, sorry.
So we're good to go.
I will stop talking in that case.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and begin. Hey everyone, thank you for joining. My name is Jason Marshall, and this program is called Inspire Science. And so in this short amount of time, I hope to get you a little bit more familiar with it. So let's begin. Welcome to Inspire Science. Inspire Science is a comprehensive research-based K-5 curriculum built to support the next generation science standards or any three-dimensional learning that's taking place in your classroom. In this short overview, I'm going to talk about how the program is structured. What are some of the components of the program and what makes Inspire Science unique? And when I say those things, I'm going to try to call those Inspire Science differences. So let's go ahead and begin. First with some housekeeping. Inspire Science is built on units. So every grade has 4 interactive write-in work texts per student per grade level. What do I mean by interactive write-in work texts? I mean, students are actually writing in these. They're journaling in these. They're collecting their data in these because their labs are in these. And we replace these every year for every student as long as you have Inspire Science in your classroom. You don't have to go to the copy room every day, all student work consolidated in this nice handy little work text. And every unit for the student has a corresponding teacher's edition. But Inspire Science exists not just in print, Inspire Science exists 100% digitally as well. I know so many of us have been doing remote instruction or hybrid instruction for a long time, and the Inspire Science platform has met the test. So whether you rely on print or whether you are digitally every single day with devices in students' hands every single day, Inspire Science will work for you. On what devices I typically get asked next? Well, PC, laptop, Chromebook, tablet, and even smartphone. So as a teacher, you can create a test on your desktop, send it to students. They can take it on their smartphone, submit it to you for scoring, and you can see how they scored on a tablet. Literally any device for teachers and students anywhere. And I know this is on a lot of teachers' minds. Will our platform work with your platform? And the answer is yes. We have an integration team whose sole focus is the successful integration of what we're doing with what you have going on campus. Many students these days, even at the K-5 level, they have phones in their hands. And so with that in mind, we have a Read Anywhere app for Inspire Science where students can download modules onto their phone and read them offline. They could even have those modules read to them and highlight and annotate and do all sorts of cool stuff. We know mobility of the internet is so important. Having students have access on their phone and offline is important. So the Read Anywhere app is what I like to call an Inspire Science difference. And for our pre-K Inspire Science classrooms, engaging teacher charts, visuals, and hands-on experiences to make science come alive for our early learners. Now, I said Inspire Science was designed for three-dimensional learning in NGSS, and that is true. Every lesson integrates the core ideas, the practices, and the science and the cross-cutting concepts in each and every lesson, ultimately culminating with some sort of performance task, an opportunity for students to demonstrate their mastery of the content. And you'll see that alignment in the beginning of the teacher's edition. You'll see it throughout every single lesson. And you also see a color coding system. So wherever you see blue, that means there's a science engineering practice. In this case, students are going to develop a model of a food web. They're in orange, the disciplinary core ideas. They're going to use that model to share their understanding of the connections among living things. And then finally in green, the cross-cutting concepts. They're going to show use that food web to show the flow of matter and energy as it moves across the food web. This color coding, not just in the teacher's edition, but in the student edition as well, is an Inspire Science difference, really unpacking those 3 dimensions. And I said Inspire Science has digital resources as well. So you'll see them of all shapes and sizes. Things like phenomena videos, simulations, lesson concept videos, cross-cutting concept songs, and these come complete with lyrics that can be sort of a karaoke-like experience in your classroom, especially for your primary grades. STEM Career Kids videos, and an interactive work text that brings it all together. Now, everything that I share with you, every one of these resources, and literally every activity, every lab, every reading assignment can be administered in a remote learning situation. So it can be done, some of these activities can be done synchronously, and some of these can be done asynchronously, where you come back and report back as a class. Now, this is one. This is called, this is a pinball game. We've partnered with a company called Filament Games to bring these gamification experiences into Inspire Science. I taught middle school science, and forces in motion was a difficult topic for me. Imagine at the elementary school grades. Why not introduce it at an earlier age through the form of a pinball game, where students are getting introduced to the concepts of forces in motion, and they don't even realize it because they're having fun. That's the idea of gamification, and gamification is a part of Inspire Science. It's what I like to call an Inspire Science difference. So at the bottom right, you saw what we call a STEM Career Kit. It's an avatar. These avatars are throughout the Inspire Science program. They'll get discussions going. This particular avatar, her goal is to be a computer programmer. So she'll share her passion for computer programming and why other students might care. This use of this avatar in these STEM Career Kits is a design feature for students to be able to see themselves in a STEM career of the future. So you'll see different genders, different ethnicities, different ability levels, but they have one thing in common. They love science and they want to share their passion for students. So it's a concept of getting every student to see what's possible in their future. So let's walk through a module. And again, just to repeat, as I walk through this, every activity, every reading assignment, every virtual activity can be sent to students in a remote learning situation. So let's talk about it. So we're at the beginning of a module. It's a module opener. This module is all about communication. How do humans communicate? How do animals communicate? And is it possible there's similarities between the two? So it's asking a question. How does a lighthouse transmit a message across a distance? And there's a video here that has some dolphins communicating. Now, it might have dolphins or it might have other animals, and it's going to, and I have it muted right now so I can talk over it. And the question is, how are they communicating? Do they have a language? If animals have a language, does that mean they have an alphabet? Do all animals speak this? Do all animals within a species speak the same language? Do animals in different continents speak the same language? How is that possible? And how far does their language travel? These are all questions students will have with phenomena. And good phenomena are designed to elicit student questions. So every module will begin with a phenomena. From there, we go into a STEM module project launch. We want to get students thinking of the STEM module project all along the way. We don't want it to be this big thing that awaits at the end. Have them thinking about their design challenge all along the way. So in this particular module, students are being told, hey, at the end of the module, you're going to be a telecommunications engineer, and you're going to design a device that uses either light or sound to transmit a message across the class. Be thinking about this all along the way. So it gives context to everything that follows, and these will either be science or engineering challenges. From here, we're going to go into the 5E lesson model in Inspire Science, except Inspire Science uses one additional step, Paige Keeley and her formative assessment probes. What are Paige Keeley and who is Paige Keeley and what are formative assessment probes? Well, Paige Keeley is a former president of NSTA. She's a wildly successful author. You may have seen her Uncovering Student Idea series, and she's an exclusive partner with Inspire Science. So imagine sending this experience to students digitally, have them doing it asynchronously, and then coming back and synchronously have a discussion about it. So let's see what this is all about. Here's a scenario. This is a scenario that she calls a probe. Two friends were talking about animal eyes, and they noticed that animals that are active at night have very large eyes. And this is what they said about it. Laura said animals like owls have large eyes so they can see in the dark. They do not need light to see. But Jaden said animals like owls have large eyes to help them see in the dark, but they still need some light to see. Now, who are you going to agree with and why? Now, the answers are likely to be all over the place in an elementary school classroom, and that's not necessarily the most important part. It's always this explanation. What are students going to say and why? It'll allow you to uncover misconceptions. Students will engage in some argumentation, which is a science and engineering practice. They'll have this great scientific discourse at the beginning of every single lesson. Now, student ideas on topics are all over the place. And to support you, the teacher, in helping administer these probes, we have these videos. Let's take a look at this one, talking about how students think things, see things.
We're going to talk about seeing things and how students see things, but I'm going to give you a warning right now. It's going to get dark because I'm going to turn off the lights. So what do students think about how you see things? Let's take a look.
I think your eyes see things because of parts in your body that help your eyes see things. If your eye sockets are good, then you can see them, and you can actually, your eyes can actually tell your brain what color it is. Your eyes are like a mirror. Like, sometimes I do this to my sister, like I'll look in her eyes to see something, and it's so I can see in her eyes, but it's not like on the white part of your eyes. It's not on it's like somewhere on the brown part, and sometimes on your black thing. I know what that's called. It just won't come to my mind, but it's you can see through that too. One time I watched a video about eyes, and in the back of it there's like this little flashlight that lets you see everything. And I think that that's the little white thing that's in your eye that lets you see everything.
You can see in the video that students have different ideas about how they see things. A common idea is this idea of vision, where the eyes actually send stuff out to grab something and bring it back in some way. But the idea that is about the eyes. And really it's about the light. So let me show you this diagram.
So everyone, a lot of the probes to support you. And all the probes come with strategies, like the sticky note strategy. Your students are going to choose who they think they agree with most and why, and post their answers on the board. And we can revisit their thinking over time. So there's this revisiting of thinking element that's going throughout every single lesson of Inspire Science. From here, we're going to go into the lesson level. And every lesson will begin with a phenomena as well. Phenomena is integrated at the module and lesson level. And this one says, how do eyes help animals see? Check out this video to see this phenomena in action. So here we have a video, and students are watching it. What's this cat looking at? Why are his eyes changing shape? Is something getting closer to him or farther away? Is there more or less light in the room? Is it possible the cat's communicating to another cat using his eyes? What's going on here? These are all questions students are going to have, and good phenomena should elicit these questions. This is a phenomenon-based program in Inspire Science. From there, we're going to explore. And explore is always some sort of investigation or inquiry opportunity. And here they're going to explore the role of animal eyes and how light travels. Every one of our labs in Inspire Science comes with a collaboration kit. Everything you're unlikely to have in your classroom will appear in these collaboration kits. But we've heard from teachers, especially through hybrid learning, that hands-on activities are difficult to do, especially with remote learning. And if I'm a K-5 teacher, I might be a literacy specialist and not necessarily a science expert. How can Inspire Science support you? Well, for teachers, we have inquiry teacher preview videos. It'll show you the science background with this particular lab, how to set the lab up, what it should look like. What are the student outcomes? What questions students are likely to have throughout the course of the lab? Everything a teacher needs to feel 100% confident going into every single lab is found in these inquiry teacher previews. But what about students? What about on the student side? We have inquiry rewind videos. This is designed for the student. So what happens if students miss lab day? Or maybe it's a difficult lab and you want them to see the lab before it's being performed, maybe just to get a lay of the land. Or how about in a remote learning where students aren't in school at all? How are you going to have inquiry opportunities? Well, maybe the next best thing is to show a group of students doing this lab, just like they would in class. And so for the teacher and students, we have these inquiry rewind videos, great tools to use either synchronously or asynchronously. It's really up to you on how you want to use them. When we get into explain, we're getting into the narrative, facts about animal eyes. And in between the narrative, you're going to see opportunities for exploration. It will mention in the narrative simulations and videos that can be watched. And so these come in all shapes and sizes. On the bottom left, you see a simulation. Now, in a K-5 classroom, a typical one, you're probably not going to be able to heat up iodine and have this opportunity to see the effect it has on the iodine molecules. Looks like they're getting pretty agitated there as the temperature goes up, and it looks like they're taking up more volume in a confined space. These are things that you probably can't explore in your classroom, but you can in a virtual setting. So look for virtual labs and simulations, things that are too dangerous, too time consuming, perhaps too expensive or logistically impossible to do in your K-5 classroom now, and great tools to use remotely. Have them do this experience asynchronously, and this come back and report. What did you discover in this simulation? What did you find? What are some of the limitations of this experiment? So any one of these experiences can be assigned digitally. When we get to elaborate, it's always some sort of an extension of some kind. In this case, out to a vocation that applies the science that you've been teaching, a veterinarian's office. And here we have a STEM career kid, Ruby. She wants to be a veterinarian when she grows up, and she's going to share her passion about veterinary medicine.
Do you know what this is? Yes, it's an X-ray. In fact, it's an X-ray of an iguana. I want to be a veterinarian when I grow up. Then I will use technology like this to care for sick and injured animals. I want to work in a zoo. That way I can help all kinds of animals, even my favorite animal, penguins.
So STEM Career Kit videos are in print, they're digitally throughout the program, getting discussions going, getting students thinking about a STEM world that could be part of their future. When we get to review, we're going to revisit the phenomena. And here students thinking have changed over time. It looks like they were pretty evenly split between Jaden and Laura at the beginning of the lesson, but now they've had a few experiences. They've had a lab or two, maybe an investigation, and now their understanding has changed. And in orange, you see their new thinking. Now they're starting to think Jaden is probably right on this particular probe. This mirrors the way scientists approach concepts. Even scientists change their thinking as they get additional information, and we want students to be thinking like young scientists. Now, the screen that I have on the screen probably looks familiar to you if you've been teaching for a while. You've probably utilized this strategy quite a bit in your classroom. If you said foldables, you are correct. And they're great for a STEAM initiative as well, because there's an artistic element to these. Students really take ownership of them because they're really allowed to be creative with them. Foldables are three-dimensional graphic organizers, and we've been exclusive partners with Dinah Zyke and her foldables for almost 20 years now. And in that time, foldables have become the most successful graphic organizer system in the world. And you're only going to find them in McGraw-Hill resources. So Paige Keeley and her probes, Dinah Zyke and her foldables, they're Inspire Science differences. But we have students in our classrooms that are of different ability levels. So whether it's approaching on level or reaching students that are beyond level, we're going to have a strategy for those students. If those students are in the process of acquiring English, whether they're at the emerging, expanding or bridging stage, we're going to have strategies for those students as well. Inspire Science is also augmented by ancillary resources that bring literacy into science and allow you to bring science into literacy if you'd like. Things like science paired read alouds. Now, many of you have, in the primary grades, have had students huddled around and you maybe had a big book on your lap and let's all read together. Well, that's what the paired read alouds are, except we have them in magazine style format, which are great for assigning for homework, small group activity, but these can be projected onto your whiteboard and could be bigger than the big books and as big as your screen allows. So science paired read alouds for your primary grades. For all grades K through 5, level readers, and all of these can be assigned digitally as well. And students can read these asynchronously and come back to report as a group. They come in 4 levels, approaching on level, green is beyond level, Purple is ELL. There's even a 5th version in Spanish. And all of these follow a very consistent format. We're going to see an essential question, read opportunity, a graphic organizer. Students that use graphic organizers outperform students that do not. They're going to find textual evidence about the level reader. And at the end of every level reader, it's an opportunity for students to support the science and engineering practices. So look for those in every single lesson of Inspire Science. And finally, investigator articles. I like these because these cover cool science, engineering challenges, things like driverless cars, eye technology. I'm a big fan of the Mission Impossible franchise, and the main character, Ethan Hunt, would always wear this eye technology that fed him information and data about the bad guys that were chasing him. Well, that was science fiction 15 years ago. Now it's pretty much here. And so students are very interested in these cool science articles, and that's why we have them. Science investigator articles with engineering innovation embedded within. So as we're going from module to modules or lesson to lesson, students are building on their understanding of phenomena. And then ultimately at the end of all lessons, at the end of the module, students have that engineering challenge that awaits. Remember, they're going to be a telecommunications engineer, and they're going to create a device that uses either light or sound to transmit a message across the class. We're going to ask them to use the engineering design process to do that, to revise it, to refine it, to make improvements, and then to finally communicate the limitations, the benefits of their solution to the class. We know that every elementary school classroom doesn't teach the same way as well. So it's important to have flexible planning options. So if you teach science every single day, 45 minutes a day, Inspire Science has a track for that. But many of you don't teach 45 minutes a day. Perhaps you teach 30 minutes a day. Or maybe science is taught 30 minutes, 3 days a week. Inspire Science has those flexible planning options to meet you where you are at. And every experience that I shared with you, every simulation, every reading assignment, every hands-on opportunity, the probe, is not only assignable to be done asynchronously, it's also a part of the presentation that's pre-made. You don't have to create PowerPoint. All you have to do is click on our presentations, and all of that media is already embedded. If you want to create a test and add your own questions, use our bank of test questions that you have to begin with, and then make it perfect. For instance, change the font style or spacing. You can do all that and make copies. And maybe when we get back to the classroom, we do this in a very traditional sense where students are writing on this test. But if we're in a remote environment, you could assign this on our platform and have students do it digitally. Have it sent back for you, and they could do it on any device, and they get sent back to you for a score. They can even see technology enhanced questions like the one you see on the right, where students are manipulating things on the screen. The benefit of doing that way is if they submit it digitally, it gets scored for you automatically, and you can generate reports to see how students are doing in Inspire Science. Now, I've been saying several times that Inspire Science was built with three-dimensional learning in mind. And so we want to be able to assess students at that level of depth and rigor, multi-step questions, performance tasks, the integration of the 3 dimensions in the science and engineering practices. So if you want to assess students at that level, you need assessment items to do that. And so with Inspire Science, we offer a 3-dimensional assessment guide. It first starts with guided practice. And in guided practice, they're going to have a 3D coach that kind of points them in the right direction. Once they get past guided practice and into practice, that coach disappears. So think of this as sort of a gradual release method. Finally, we're going to get into unit tests, performance tasks that bring everything together. Measured Progress is a partner of McGraw Hill Education, and they've helped us create these assessment items to make sure all students are ready for the assessment that awaits them. So we begin every lesson with a Page-Keeley probe. We engage them at the module and lesson level with engaging phenomena that are designed to get students thinking and ask questions. Hands-on experiences complete with collaboration kits and videos, not just for students, but also for teachers, because teachers need a hand in setting things up and what the outcomes are going to be and what the grouping should be and what the questions will be. So labs for teachers and students, and then ancillary support through the investigative articles, the science parallel read alouds, and the level readers. Ultimately, remember, we end with an opportunity for students to demonstrate the mastery. Our STEM module project is the performance task in Inspire Science. Now, everything that I shared with you isn't of any help unless you're supported. And so when you adopt Inspire Science from McGraw Hill Education, we adopt you right back. And that means professional development on site or on demand online, anytime, anywhere, through the Inspire Science platform, which is a really user-friendly platform for students. Everything students need to do is in their to-do section. Everything that they've turned in shows up in past work. And there's current event articles available for them that to make science come alive and relevant to things that they see in the world around them. Inspire Science helps students to dream big. And when they can dream big, they have a better chance of being the next generation of innovators. We're McGraw Hill. This program is called Inspire Science. And I want to thank you so much for joining this presentation on Inspire Science. If you have any questions about Inspire Science, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Let us know what they are. We'll be sure to answer them and get whatever you need to evaluate Inspire Science or help you teach science in general to you. Thank you so much for your time. Suresh?
Yes, thank you so much. If you have any questions for Jason, please let us know now. Otherwise, we have 2 more breakout sessions that you can get into, the math or the literacy one. My colleague DJ West has just dropped the links in the chat box. You can join those. A lot of people are asking if we can get a demo access. Yes, you can. I'm just dropping the link, the email address where you can let us know, and we can connect you to the sales rep for a demo for Inspire Science. If you have any questions for Jason, please let us know. Are there workbooks?
Well, remember, every student gets 4 interactive work texts per grade level per year. So these are these replace, let's say, a hardbound student edition, and students are writing in these. And so they're journaling in these, they're collecting their data in these. And in addition to those, remember, there's the science investigator articles, the level readers, and the paired read alouds.
Jason, can I share my screen if it's all right?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. Is Microsoft Teams a supported platform?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think just about any collaborative platform will work with Inspire Science. And if you're challenged with how to integrate that into your instruction, that's something to reach out to us with, and we can help you do a staff development or a Zoom or professional development to support you integrating Teams with Inspire Science.
Okay, I've just shared my screen. You can get connected with us here, and the email address where you can request for a demo, it's marketing.emia@mheducation.com. This is where you can ask us for a demo access for Inspire. And if you'd like to get in touch with a rep as well, we do have other breakout sessions running. This one's going to be a repeat. So you'll have to log in out from here and get into another session. There is one that's running for math, Reveal Math with Christy. And there's one that's running for ELA with Brandon. You will have to choose the links and get into the breakout rooms. I'll drop the link again. So just click on the link and you should be able to get directed to the breakout rooms. While we wait for attendees to leave in and out, Jason, do students get feedback while doing the virtual lab or other exploring resources?
Do students get feedback in the middle of it? In K-5 Inspire Science, this is really a student activity. There isn't immediate feedback. That's something that the teachers can provide. It's not built into the simulation experience.
All right.
So
For those of you who have just joined us, yes, this is the science room. That's correct. What about certificates? We will be sharing the certificates once the webinar series is completed. So this is a repeat session. If you've attended this session, you will have to move out to another session, either math or English. Can we get the email of the gentleman?
I'll put my email in the chat if that's okay.
I forgot his name, sorry. His name is Jason Marshall. He's a senior national curriculum specialist. You're welcome. If you've attended the breakout room for science, you will have to get into the other breakout room for math or literacy. I've just dropped the links. If you've just joined us from another breakout room, then welcome. We will start, when do we start, Jason?
In just a minute or so.
All right, perfect.
Cerise, you think it's about time to get started, do you think?
Yeah, I think we can do that. I hope the 71 people who have joined us are people who are coming from the math and the literacy session. So this is breakout session for science. If you've just joined us, welcome. If you've just attended this session, you will have to move into the literacy or the math session. Equally, this is optional. If you want to drop out, you have other things, that's fine. Thank you, Maya. I guess we can start. Jason, is it okay if you can stop and start the recording once more?
Yeah, sure can.
Excellent, thank you.